Imagine working your entire life, saving every paycheck, buying a home, building a business, only for your children to lose everything within a few years after you're gone. It happens more often than you think. In fact, studies on family wealth consistently show that a large share of inherited wealth is lost within a few generations, not because families don't work hard, but because they don't have a plan. Now imagine the opposite. Imagine creating a system that protects your family for decades, long after your name is forgotten. Today, I'll show you exactly how ordinary families, not just billionaires, can build a family trust that turns today's income into tomorrow's legacy. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why the world's wealthiest families rarely leave money, they leave systems. Money can disappear, businesses can fail, governments change, markets crash, but properly structured family wealth can survive wars, recessions, inflation, and generations of poor decisions. That's why families like the Rockefellers, Rothschilds, and many successful entrepreneurs rely on trusts, not simply because they're rich, but because they understand something most people never learn. The goal isn't becoming rich, the goal is making sure your grandchildren never have to start from zero. And here's the surprising part. You don't need hundreds of millions of dollars to think like these families. Even if you're earning an average income today, the principles remain exactly the same. In this video, we'll explore what a family trust really is, why wealthy families love them, how anyone can begin building one, the mistakes that destroy family wealth, and the mindset that transforms income into legacy. Let's begin where every great legacy starts, not with money, but with a vision. Chapter 1. Legacy starts before wealth. Most people ask, how do I become rich? The wealthy ask something completely different. How do I make sure this wealth survives? Those are two entirely different questions. Imagine planting a tree. Most people focus on the fruit they'll eat this year. Legacy builders think about the forest their grandchildren will inherit. A family trust works the same way. It's less about today's harvest and more about protecting tomorrow's forest. Consider this. Two brothers each inherit $1 million. The first buys luxury cars, vacations, and expensive homes. 10 years later, the money is gone. The second places much of his inheritance into a trust. The investments continue growing. Rules prevent reckless spending. Income continues flowing to future generations. The same money, two completely different futures. Here's the lesson. Money without structure disappears. Money with structure becomes legacy. But what exactly is this mysterious thing called a trust? That's where most people become confused. And once you understand it, you'll never look at wealth the same way again. Chapter 2. What is a family trust? Let's remove all the legal jargon. Imagine placing your valuables into a secure vault. You still own what's inside, but you've created rules about who can access it, when, and under what conditions. That's essentially what a family trust does. A trust is a legal arrangement where assets are held and managed for the benefit of chosen people according to rules you establish. Think of it as writing instructions that continue working even after you're gone. Inside a trust can be a house, stocks, cash, businesses, rental properties, intellectual property, even life insurance proceeds. Instead of simply handing everything over at once, the trust distributes wealth according to your wishes. Maybe your children receive funds only after graduating university. Maybe they receive investment income instead of spending the principal. Maybe assets remain protected from lawsuits or creditors. The trust becomes the referee. Not emotions, not family arguments, not chance. Now here's something fascinating. Many wealthy families don't actually own their biggest assets personally. The trust owns them. Why? Because ownership can create taxes, legal risks, and family disputes. Control often matters far more than ownership, and that's a mindset shift most people never discover. But creating a trust alone isn't enough. History shows us something even more important. Chapter 3. Why generational wealth usually disappears. You've probably heard this saying, shirt sleeves to shirt sleeves in 3 generations. It's an old proverb found across multiple cultures. The first generation builds, the second enjoys, the third loses everything. Why? Because wealth isn't destroyed by spending alone. It's destroyed by a lack of preparation. Imagine giving someone the keys to a Formula One race car without teaching them how to drive. What happens? Disaster. The same happens with money. Children inherit wealth, but never inherit financial education. This is why family meetings are surprisingly common among wealthy families. They don't just transfer money, they transfer knowledge, values, responsibilities, expectations. Some families even create written family constitutions outlining principles that guide future generations. Things like, we invest before we spend, we avoid unnecessary debt, we support entrepreneurship, we value education. Notice something? These aren't financial rules, they're cultural rules. Culture protects wealth far better than money alone. And that leads to one of the biggest myths about trusts. A trust isn't meant to create spoiled children, it's designed to create responsible stewards. But how exactly do you begin if you're nowhere near being wealthy? The answer may surprise you. Chapter 4. Building a family trust from scratch. Here's the biggest misconception. I'll build a trust after I become rich. That's backwards. Many people become wealthy because they planned early, not after. Here's a practical roadmap. Step 1. Define your legacy. Ask yourself, what do I want my family to have 50 years from now? Not next Christmas, not next year. 50 years. Step 2. Start acquiring productive assets. Assets that produce income. Dividend stocks, index funds, rental property, businesses, farmland, royalties. Income-producing assets become the fuel for the trust. Step 3. Protect yourself first. Emergency fund, insurance, low-interest debt, financial stability. Because unstable foundations don't create lasting legacies. Step 4. Work with qualified legal and tax professionals. Trust laws differ across countries. There's no universal template. A properly drafted trust should fit your family's goals and local laws. Step 5. Teach your family. This may be the most important step of all. Imagine leaving behind $10 million, but no wisdom. Now imagine leaving $1 million plus financial education. Which family is more likely to succeed? History already answered that question. Education compounds even faster than money. And there's one final ingredient almost every successful legacy shares. It's not money, it's purpose. Chapter 5. The secret ingredient. Picture two families. One gathers every holiday to celebrate achievements, discuss investments, and mentor younger relatives. The other never talks about money. Which family do you think preserves wealth longer? Money follows behavior. Behavior follows values. Values shape destiny. The Rockefeller family reportedly emphasized education, philanthropy, entrepreneurship, and long-term thinking across generations. Whether your family owns thousands or billions, the principle remains identical. A trust without values becomes a bank account. A trust with values becomes a legacy. Ask yourself, what stories will your grandchildren tell about you? Will they remember the car you drove or the opportunities you created? Because true wealth isn't measured by how much money you leave. It's measured by how many lives continue improving because you lived. That's the difference between inheritance and legacy. Let's recap. A family trust isn't only for billionaires. It's a framework, a strategy, a promise to future generations. It protects assets, creates structure, reduces conflict, encourages discipline, and helps transform temporary success into lasting prosperity. But remember, the trust itself isn't the real legacy. The real legacy is the mindset, the habits, the education, the values, the vision. Every wealthy family started somewhere. Someone decided that the cycle of financial struggle would end with them. That person could be you. Years from now, your grandchildren may never know every sacrifice you made, but they'll live inside the opportunities those sacrifices created. That's what legacy really means. If you found this video valuable, leave a comment answering one question. What kind of legacy do you want your family to inherit? Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the Money Code, and turn on notifications, because here, we're not just learning how to make money, we're learning how to make wealth last. See you in the next video.